Okay, there's actual stuff we want to get into because the Barrios contract came out before our live stream last week, and we talked about it.
Came out
a little
the
bit
day
with
of
Craig.
the live stream.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit with Craig last week, but we wanted to talk about what it means, and Max, you said you wanted to deep dive this. So, obviously, one of the biggest things when the Blue Jays went out and traded for Jose Berrios last year, it was, if they make the playoffs, I'll buy you a coffee tea. If they don't make the playoffs, you owe me.
Got it. Yeah, I'm on the side of the
I'm
Islanders.
in. We're in.
I'm not betting against Barry
Mark
Trotz.
it down. Write it in
Sounds
your
good,
journal.
Katie.
Write it in your diary. Put it on Facebook. It's happening.
It's already on Facebook.
Well, I guess make a post about it. And we'll come back to it.
Literally
So
right
when
there.
the Blue Jays went out and traded for Jose Berrios, 26, 27-year-old at the time, durable front-end starting pitcher. When I say front-end, of course, I mean first or second, maybe third pitcher. But he's really looking like a guy who could be number one or a number two. And we talked about it with Craig Ballard last week. Comes in, real good first start, real bad like 4 starts after that. And then he kind of settled in and looked really good again by the end of the season. And I wish we could have saw him pitch a playoff game just to see he's such a passionate pitcher. You can tell he's just so focused. I would have loved to see him, and I hope to see lots of playoff games with him coming up as a Blue Jays fan. But the biggest thing for Blue Jays fans, we were weary about it, was he's got a 1-year contract after this. We just traded Austin Martin and Simeon Woods Richardson, 2 very good prospects for this guy. People were worried he was going to jump ship. It's a 7-year contract. He's back. He's in forever.
Took a month and a half for Jose Barrios and his family to be sold on Toronto.
Yeah, talk about his family a little bit, Max.
That's a statement.
We'll get into his family in a second.
Oh, no, we're not even talking about the family. We're talking about the city of Toronto.
No, we'll get into his family in a second with our next topic. But let's get into Barrios here. I mean, this is huge for the team. Again, 7 years. This team doesn't sign that contract very often.
What's that movie quote? 7 years.
Is that a quote?
It's a movie quote.
I don't know, Max. You might have lost me on that one.
Sorry.
7 years. I don't know.
That was one of those ones where the signal was in my brain and it had to come out.
Sure.
I botched it.
I hear you. But this is huge. Again, major free agent who could have made a ton of money on the free agent market if he just would have waited a year. Signing a year early, which is huge. A top-end starter. He's not even 30 yet. This is big. And it's not only big for Barrios and the current Jays, but I think it's sending a bit of a shockwave across the league that, hey, guys are ready to buy into this team because people are seeing the future. And obviously that's the effect of this past season with the young guys that are currently there, Bichettes, Guerreros, go down the list. And I think that has a big part in it, that Barrios sees this team as a team he wants to be on for the next 7 years. That hasn't been the case for the Blue Jays in their existence very often. What do you want to say about it?
I Ellioted you hard.
You tuned out?
Didn't even catch
what I'm
2
saying
words
is,
of it.
Jose Berrios, what do you like?
I love his mechanics. I love the fact that, like you mentioned earlier, he's a front end of the rotation, durable starter with fantastic clean mechanics. Elite stuff that you know is going to make his accustomed 32 starts in a season. Now, again, we're going to talk about where baseball landscape and the economics of it. Here's hoping he pitches in 2022 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Sorry if you said that already. But regardless...
Nope, I didn't. You got that one.
Nailed it. But regardless, I absolutely love the contract and what he brings to this organization. Again, we talk about guys that can move up and down the lineup in terms of hockey. Well, this is a guy that you know at the very, very worst, at his low end, is a number 3 starter. And to get him at an average annual value of $20 million based on where baseball revenues are going and this and that, again, as durable, as good as stuff as there comes in the majors, that you know that could be a front end of the rotation guy for many, many years. And again, it's just the fact that he was sold on Toronto so quickly. It didn't have to get into the season of the rumors of, is he going to resign, this and that. The price tag was too much. No. Exactly what Craig said. This is worth it. This is now, it's
greatly
set
worth it.
in stone. It is worth it.
If the Jays get to a point where he's our 3rd starter, by the way, that's great.
And that's probably in year 6 or 7 of the deal.
Yeah. So this gives them now Ryu for a couple more years. Barrios, Manoah is under contract
Barney
for a
Stinson,
while.
How I Met Your Mother.
7 years?
7 years. I forget what episode, but it's How I Met Your Mother. Got it.
Sounds familiar now that you say it was
Chad's
Barney.
correct. I will take that coffee.
Yeah. So we got Barrios, we got Ryu, Manoah. Obviously, Robbie Ray's still up in the air. Steven Matz is still up in the air. Ross Stripling, I think, is a free agent up in the air. We're hoping he comes back.
Happy birthday, Ross
Happy
Stripling,
birthday,
by
Ross.
the way.
I want him back
Friend
on
of the
this
show.
team.
Me too.
And then we can have another chat with him, and it'll be great. We can have a chat with him either way, I guess.
Hey, you know what we just got to do? You gotta call the friends at Popeyes, get him that chicken sandwich
get him a deal.
because that's his agent hasn't done it yet. What if we do that? And
What if
then
we
he
got
comes
him a
back,
deal?
and then he comes back? We get him a deal. He signs a deal. How's that?
I'm in.
Just saying, it's a
I'm in.
concept that
And
works.
can we get Popeyes deals too, if that's the case?
We might be reaching a little bit. You know what? Hey, to get Ross Stripling back in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform, I will sacrifice my chicken
I would
sandwiches.
buy a chicken sandwich if it meant Ross Stripling
every day.
back on the Blue
Yeah,
Jays.
every fifth day. Every day that he starts, free chicken
There
sandwiches
you
on
go.
us. But they're not
I think
free
we just
for
came up
us.
with a thing. I think we just came up with a campaign.
So you don't have to go to law school to be an agent. You just have to know how to put ad
Jeez.
deals together.
Come on.
Good stuff.
Anyways, that's great. But we got who? Like I'm trying to think now. Who else? Now we've been talking about some other guys. Kevin Gausman is a name.
Kevin
We have him on
Gausman.
the list. Kevin Gausman was rumored last year. Kevin Gausman was rumored the year
He's
before.
Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro's Matt Duchene.
He wants-
Kevin Gausman.
They want him so
so
bad, and he keeps not signing with whatever team they're with. Was the
He
Indians
keeps
before
showing up in the
Guardians?
nice lingerie, ready to have a nice
Honestly.
evening affair with the Toronto Blue Jays, and
Nope.
just
So they
continues
want
to
Kevin
stand us up.
Gausman. He was in San Francisco last year.
San Francisco put up a hell of a year
Great
after
year.
he accepted his qualifying offer, and he bet on himself, and it worked.
Yeah, exactly. And, the Jays really want him. So he'd be a really good 3-4 guy probably in that range, depending on where Manoah slots in.
And that's
probably.
the thing. You can give Manoah, again, however you map out the schedule, right? Because that's the thing that we already know that Pete Walker's working on in the offseason is he's mapping out the starters that he currently has under contract. He's saying, okay, where's this going to work out well in the schedule? Does Manoah slot better as a 4 guy based on the matchups?
Yeah.
Is he a 3? Where does he go? And you just know that they're going to want to give Alek Manoah every opportunity to continue to build off that fantastic rookie season. So to add a Kevin Gausman, that would insulate that. That would make sure that that's something that you could do with a young guy like Alek Manoah. So,
But that would take them out of the Robbie Ray race, I would think.
oh, likely for sure. Yeah.
just
You
because
get
of
one
the-
or the other.
And I think I would, Stephen Matz, we had this conversation this morning,
This morning.
And I was like, Stephen Matz, he had a good year, but there was a lot of times where, he was pretty pedestrian, and he wants $15+ million right now. I don't know if I really feel as a fan like I want to do that. I feel like, I'd rather go a different direction if that's the case. And you mentioned J.A. Happ as a guy maybe making another stop in Toronto, who's now in his late 30s, right? He's 38 or 9 or whatever he is now. He's a guy who could come in and be just that veteran, reliable presence in the 5 spot and kind of give everybody else just confidence that, at least you're probably getting a quality start most nights out of J.A. Happ, even though he's in his older, he's in the twilight. And he'd probably come cheaper than 15. I don't know what you get him for at this point in his career, but he came for 12 before. Mm-hmm. He's older now. 8 or 9, 10.
And I think before I transition to J.A. Happ, I think the one thing that we got to talk about Steven Matz, though, and again, he was clutch down the stretch.
Yeah.
It was
No,
it was at the point where I would
he
rather
earns
see
$12 to $15 million. I just
yeah.
don't know if I'm ready to pay him the top end of that as a fan.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm
not
just
paying
saying
the
I was ready to have Steven Matz out there ahead of Hyun Jin Ryu at points during that stretch run last year. So
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, whatever contract he earns, he earned it. Especially with again, it's when you show up during those playoff races is what gets you paid, right? Now,
Sure.
ultimately they didn't make the playoffs, so we'll never know what was. But at the same time, he was crucial to giving the Jays an opportunity to get into that final playoff spot. When it comes to J.A. Happ, I'm an advocate for it. You reunite him with Pete Walker, be a guy in your fifth slot in the
That's what I
rotation
mean.
at $5 or $6 million.
You can't go out and get a guy, A, who has a history with Toronto, and B, is just a reliable, has always been pretty good in his career guy.
If he gives you
to be a
4
number
to 5
5
innings every single day,
Yeah.
he doesn't have to give you 6. He could be that guy that goes out for 5 innings.
Nate Pearson comes in for 3.
Exactly.
How good would that be?
Well, Jays
Also,
still have
I've
to pay him.
heard some rumblings that Nate Pearson. It sounds like they want him in the pen. Who called that? A rash. I'll never forget that.
Well, I've heard. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's right.
I'll never forget that.
That was a
though.
watershed moment
when I'm
for
like,
you. You were very happy about that.
Arash, what do you think about Nate Pearson as a closer? Well, I think you're stupid. All right, that's not a quote.
That's
but
not what he said.
It was essentially.
You're
the
hearing what
conversation.
you wanted to hear.
No, I think I said, "Am I crazy and stupid for thinking he'd be a good closer?" And I think he nodded his head. I think something like he didn't call me stupid.
I don't. And again, the closer side of it, we've already seen that Jordan Romano is probably going to be the closer for this team
He's
based on what
looking
he did.
good.
But can Nate Pearson be a 6-out unicorn in that 7th and 8th inning, and you only have to worry about 2 innings when it comes down to those again very, very crucial innings that the Blue Jays struggled in last year. That's something where I could see being a possibility of, again, if he can go out and just give gas for 5-6 outs every single outing, that's
like
worth
it.
its weight in gold right there, especially with the struggles
like
that they had.
I like it a lot. Rod Monroe's checking in, says, great show, gentlemen. Max, you look much better without a Leafs jersey on.
Thank you very much, Rob.
Yep.
I do agree. I tell you what, though, I still haven't washed off the stains of
Just the emotional
it's
stains.
just the emotional pain. You know that TikTok that's going around with like is that the Taylor Swift song with the water? I've seen some funny ones.
I'm going to say yes.
That one, yeah, the water. Yeah, either way for context. Yeah, I need a few of those to really drown out the pain.
Maybe a vinegar bath or something like
Maybe
that
I'll just-
even.
yeah, with the jersey on.
Aaron
See how that
Matthews
does.
clearly isn't aware of Ava's shtick. Aaron says, I feel like Ava has it in her mind that anyone who has ever played for New York is a legend. Kind of an inside joke we got going on where, I kept calling people Rangers legends or whatever legends.
Right.
And it's an insider.
No,
Insider.
Ava's a very, very intelligent fan. She knows her team inside and out. I think it's
She called Tyler Wade a legend earlier, and I think that's where it kind of started.
for sure. But I mean, at the same time, we're the same fan base when it comes to the Toronto Blue Jays, where we also thought that
Yes.
we've had a few legends pass through.
Oh, tons. One thing I wanted to just throw in here, and Max hates it, but Javier Baez, there's a report, a video came out at the Walk Off Homers, I think it was Walk Off Homers podcast. They had Arden Zwelling on, future guest of the SquadCast, eventually. And Arden basically said that Barrios and his family loved it in Toronto so much, and this had a large part in him signing a 7-year contract because he loved Toronto so much when he got here. And that it was clear in his press conference that was the case. And just so happens that
Just so JA happens?
JA happens that Barrios' wife is the sister of. Sorry. let me pull this back.
Come on, man. If you're going to bring up the
Barrios'
family,
wife-
you got to know the family tree.
Yeah, Barrios' wife is the sister of Javier Baez's wife. Sorry, Javier Baez's wife is her sister.
Good job.
So Javi Baez is a free agent, total free agent. They grew up together in Puerto Rico, and the wives are sisters. So the thought process from the quote from the clip that I sent you, and you hated immediately, was they like it so much, and they want the families. Their families are close. They want them to maybe bring Javi Baez, childhood friends, whatever, Puerto Rico. They grew up in Puerto Rico. Maybe Javi Baez is coming to the Jays. Now he'd be if you're not getting Semien back, you bring Javi Baez in to play second base. I mean, in terms of production, he's shown that he has a lot to offer. However, he's also got a downside. He strikes out a lot. There's some downsides. He also had a bit of a run-in with Mets fans last year. So there's that. But
Immediately
he
after
also
he got
won a
dealt.
World Series with the Cubs at the age of 22 as a starter in the World Series.
Starting starter.
Starting starter.
Starting starter, second baseman.
Was he second or was he a shortstop at that point? Where was he
I'm
playing?
going to
I
call
don't remember.
second because that's what he's
Second base,
advertised
yeah.
as, but-
But anyways, I just thought that was kind of an interesting little connection. Max absolutely hates
You think
it.
everything, though, when it comes to... Okay.
Say what you want to say, Max.
There's a lot of things I want to say in this instance. First of all, I'm going to say
We still have one more topic, so just
Javi
keep that in mind.
Baez is a plan C for the Toronto Blue Jays. Plan A, re-sign Marcus
I'm fine with
Semien
that.
to fair market value, whatever that being, $30+ million. I don't care. Bring him back. And again, save the Mats money. Get that fifth slot in the rotation given to a J.A. Happ, somebody that you're familiar with that you know that could win you 5 or 6 ball games. Anyways, that's plan A. Sign Marcus Semien.
Okay.
Plan B, you go out, like Craig Ballard is advocating for, and you get Jose Ramirez.
So what do you do a second? Not that Cavan could play second again?
Potentially. Why not? The other thing, though,
Kevin
too, is, again,
Biggio for-
Javi Baez isn't the only second baseman on the free agent market that could fill that gap, right? At the end of the day, you already have a very, very good... You know who could fill it? I bet you who could fill it? Santiago.
Espinal.
I bet you that's a guy that, again, could transition from third base to second base. No
think he
problem
did.
whatsoever. Exactly. He's a
couple
guy that can
times.
play all over. And we know that, again, 7th
Love
or
his
8th in
energy.
the order. Love his energy. And again, the other thing, too, is what's Randall Grichuk going to return in a trade? Because I bet you that trade happens this offseason. I really do.
I feel it.
I just feel it. you know?
One other thing we should probably
Anyways,
get
Plan
to.
C, Javi Baez.
Plan C.
Plan C.
One thing we should probably get to is the Rogers thing. So Rogers is in the middle of potentially selling the Blue Jays. So the Now, who was Sid Sixero retweeted like a Toronto Star
and then you had to
article.
pay for the article, and then I just
Yeah.
didn't have $2 to spare.
So
you know.
yeah, so the idea here is that they want to boost the value of the Jays to sell it at a higher price. Is what I think I'm getting. Or
Been
did
watching
you
a lot
get
of Suits lately, but I don't know if that
What was
checks
it?
out.
What was it? What was the deal? Because there was something to do with the Jays' finances where they wanted to either lower debt or something, and it could affect either in a good way or a bad way.
Well, the only
Jays
reason
this
you'd
season.
sell the only reason you'd sell the team at this point with where they're at in terms of the on the field product is if you're gonna be making
You got to get a big sale for it. You're not selling it at a low.
Sale, and I think
So,
I think
what
the,
I'm
the
thinking
reading
is-
between the lines
Right.
is whatever ownership group comes in. Obviously, you're keeping the Jays in Toronto.
Yeah.
But you've also got pockets deep enough to potentially build a new stadium.
Okay.
That's what I'm reading between the lines and in the lines of the article that I didn't want to pay $2 for. But that's what I'm thinking
So,
is what's going to be happening.
Was it that they were going to put some money into the team so that they sell a lot of stuff and
I don't
get
know
some
if
high
there's
revenues, make
is
the
Rogers
playoffs?
selling off the majority of the team at an inflated value to potentially get a stadium built. I don't know. I'm not a business.
Right.
Well, I am a business major, but it's marketing, not
You're getting there.
not economics. I
So,
don't know.
there's
Bring me
some
Jonah
s-
Hill from Moneyball. He'd tell me.
There is some stuff going on to keep your eye on, and maybe we'll hear some more in the coming weeks, and we'll keep you updated.
Did the Penguins sell? No, that didn't happen.
It's happening to Fenway Sports. Boston Red Sox are buying the Penguins.
Yeah,
I've
Fenway
also heard
Sports is.
that
Yeah.
they want to buy an NBA team and an NFL team as well. They
got
want
the
to get in
pockets.
every major
Isn't
sport.
LeBron part of that ownership group or something too? Like,
Yes,
he's got a minority
LeBron is
stake
part
in-
of it,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a couple other major people.
Oh yeah.
Like it's big. It's not just like a couple people from Boston. No, it's not a couple people from Boston. It's all over, and it just happens to be
Boston.
called Fenway. Anyways, that's
You should get Zig for cost.
Fenway owns a NASCAR team. Jordan says as well.
There we
They're
go.
literally trying to get their hands in every big sport.
every single cherry pie on the
I
market.
wonder if they'll buy the Jays. How awkward would that be?
Oh.
Like I don't think they would allow that.
I don't think you can. No, because
They own the Red
You
Sox,
can't
so-
own two teams in the same sport
Yeah, but they were
Can't do
gonna.
that.
Weren't they gonna? There was another.
because
yeah,
that's immediately a conflict of interest.
It have to be.
Can't do that.
It's just going to be interesting that they have that's Fenway based in Boston, and they're going to own the Penguins and the
Build a big blue wall in
Jaguars
left
or
field
something, and yeah,
or right field.
Going to be interesting.